Hello everyone, this is the Mad King Paradox that's bringing you Toriko Chapter 143 entitled A Living Explosive. It's got my attention already. Well, this chapter starts off with Man Sam and I'm going to call him Ray because I'm going to call him Rai because that's what his name looks like to me. And just like, and it's like how I left off with the last chapter, we'll be taking that thing you all brought back. And Toriko's like, why are you taking it? He was like, oh, we're going to research it. Yeah, we're going to research it. Which, yeah, basically that's what they're going to do. But then they send over this guy who came out of nowhere called Rat. You'll find out a bit about him in a minute. He was like, hey, Rat, go get it. And the Rat just goes over to all the chefs and he's just like, leave now. And they haul ass. That was funny. But then Zebra gets in Rap's face. He was like, who are you? And then Zebra wants to fight Rap, but Man Sam I think it was Man Sam. I'm going to say Man Sam. He goes to Zebra, don't bother fighting him, you can't win. He's like, you can't beat him because he's a part of Biotope Zero. And everyone left in the room just freaks out. They're like, Biotope Zero? I didn't know there was a Biotope Zero. And Toriko's like, I knew there was 1 to 8, but I didn't know there was a 0. And Man Sam goes, yeah, there's 1 to 8 in the human world. In the gourmet world, there's a Biotope 0. And basically, Biotope 0 is filled with people who have conquered the gourmet world. And they were a collected few that the president appointed of differing professions in the real world. And apparently, when they said selective, they meant selective because there's less. They said there was less than 20 people in it. And apparently they're not with Ego, so they're completely separate. He was like, oh yeah, Rap's young, but he's strong. Yeah, he's a part of the staff here. And then they go into a few people that are also in Biotope Zero staff, like this guy called Gourmet Bancho Gauman. I'm gonna say Gauman. And apparently, he camps out at the Styx Road, which is the crossing that connects the human world to the Wok continent. And his job is just to eat all the stray animals that try and cross over. And Toriko's like, Styx Road, that's where Sonny said he was heading. Is he going there to meet him? I don't know. Maybe. And they also say another guy is a part of Biotope Zero called... Actually, 2 other guys. The first guy is called Seiya Yosaku. And the other one, who we just left, it's been a while, but not a long while. A lot of you might remember him, Sharpener Milk, from the previous arc. And Zebra's like, he's just wanting to fight because I think it was Seiya. Apparently him and Seiya have some history and he doesn't like him at all. So now he's taking that rage and he's wanting to fight Rap still. And Rap's just like, I'm not even kidding, he just does that. He was like, I don't want to fight you. Even I wouldn't come out unscathed from that fight. And Zebra's like, oh, you're an honest one, huh? then the liar must be you. And he points to Man Sam. He was like, yeah, when Toriko asked you if you knew anything, your voice, your heartbeat, and your blood pressure all changed slightly. And Rye just looks at him and goes, "Control yourself." And then, what was I? And he was like, well, we don't know that much anyway. We have minimal details. And Toriko was like, even minimal details, please tell them to us. And he was like, okay. And we finally fucking get a name for this thing, because I was getting tired of calling them the bird things, because that didn't sound like it was good enough. I don't know. And these things, these bird things, and this is the last time I'm going to call them that, are known as Nitro. You gotta admit, that's a lot better than bird thing. And they are given the name Nitro 600 years ago by Bushoku god Akia. I'm just gonna say Akia. It sounds right, or looks right. And they literally meant they have little information about this thing. Its genus is unknown. It has no reproductive organs, so they don't know how it reproduces. There are very few of them in the world, but they have extremely long lifespans. Like they had a fossils of these things, or things that look similar to them, that were several 100 million years old. And they were back in the age of the dinosaurs. And they started discussing the 4 things that make this thing incredible. First, it's vitality. And they said when their food source is depleted, or when their environment goes to hell, they enter a non-metabolic state known as dry hibernation, where they basically can survive for thousands of years in a hibernative state. And apparently, when they absorb water, they are reanimated. And Komatsu was like, oh, so when I swung my milk knife in the gourmet pyramid, the moisture that I created from that must have awoken it. So that's how that thing came around. And they also state that because of this, they have survived many extinctions. And they had a picture of a meteor, a lava flow, and something else, I don't remember. The second thing was ferocity, something we've seen. And they said it attacks without hesitation, no matter how strong their opponents are. And they said that handling one of these things is the exact same, is similar to handling nitroglycerin. The slightest agitation will set it off, which is how it got its name, Nitro. The third thing was intelligence. And they state that every civilization that this thing has been a part of, they've improved it significantly. And Toriko's like, yeah, they've seen things once, and then they said the fourth thing was their level of gourmet. And they said they were higher than the humans. And then Komatsu realized that that book that they found was practices that they saw the Nitros do, and they just copy them down. And then they're like, I'm gonna speed this up here, and they're like, yeah, sightings have increased in the last few hundred years, and whenever they show up, the quality of the food goes up. But they also start taking chefs, abducting them. They don't know if they're taking them to learn their skills or to cook them and eat them. Then they're like, we also need them because the Bisho Kukai are involved, that organization led by Midora. And they're like, they know that the Nitros know how to get to God. And Toriko's got full attention now. They're like, that's why they made the GT robots look like them, and that's why they're trying to get their hands on them. And they're like, and Mansell's like, a sign that things are about to happen, that is because the gourmet solar eclipse is about to happen, which means there's going to be another gourmet war. And Toriko's like, well, once I find God, I can just split him with everyone. That way there won't be a war. And that's his brilliant plan for the future, and that's what we're going to have to wait on, because that's the end of the chapter. Okay, I gotta get going here for a second. And so, like the last two videos, rate, subscribe, comment, all that. And I will see you all next week.